getting almost 60% for one native token, which is the Origin Sonic. Not familiar with that, it's the LST version of Sonic. So pretty much risks here are very related to more so to platform risks, and you're not getting hit with impermanent loss because of token pairs and stuff going out of ranges and stuff like that. So again, as I said, this is roughly around um 60, give or take, close enough to 60%. Changes obviously with some of the APYs going up and down. So if you're not familiar with it, I did this something like this a couple of months back. I want to try and kind of restart it up again, kickstart it off again, and I'm wanting to try and build out the wallet that we have here on this for this channel a bit more focused on long-term growth and earning yields and reducing the risk of obviously permanent loss and things like that. So this is I'm going forward. This is what I'm wanting to do. If you're interested in getting involved in this, let me know in the comments. I give you a Discord link. What I'm doing is I'm putting together a Discord group that's going to kind of go through this and share different strategies we come across and like that. So make sure you check it out. So as I mentioned, what I'm doing is with Origin Sonic. I did this there a day ago, talked about Origin Sonic, and what we're going to do is really dive into this more again. And as I mentioned, it's an LST version of S, so you need to kind of understand that straight away. So what we want to do here is we go to Origin Protocol website, again, grab all the links from X. But what we want to do is we want to convert our S token again over to here. So pretty much converting it here. You can convert it to the WS or OS, no difference. But I think for this scenario, I think I might need OS. So what we'll be doing is converting it to this. Once that's done, our next step here is to go over to Pendle Finance. This is where we start to kind of calculate our APYs. So you can see here straight away we're going to get 6.57%. And over here, what I've done is put it in. So APY 1 is 6.57. So it's already after changing a bit on me. 6.57. API 2 then is from Pendle Finance. So again, if you're not familiar with Pendle Finance, what you need to do here is you get into positions, but they're locked into positions. So until the 29th of May, this position is going to be locked for you, right? Now, the key here is we're getting an effective fixed APY. Now, this APY is obviously over the entire year, so it's not based on just up until May, something almost 3% or 2 point something percent, I think you're getting for the period of time. Again, it is, you can see here what you'd end up coming away. So 1,000 S coming away with an extra 31 Origin Sonic tokens here. So again, look, as I said, these are not extremely high yields, but it's by putting them together is going to be where kind of game changer. And there is this process involved in it, but as I said, with DeFi, best to kind of understand these processes, take full advantage of it. So as I mentioned, it's 8.02 here. Again, we jump back over. This has obviously changed again, 8.02. And our next step from here then is obviously we have this token now, the PT wrapped Origin Sonic. So now just remember to recap quickly to this stage. We've converted our S to wrapped OS. We've then locked our wrapped OS to PT wrapped OS. And again, this is locked till maturities, which is the 29th of May 2025. And from there, what we're going to do then is jump on over to Silo Finance. With Silo Finance, when you get into this, you can just search for the wrapped Origin Sonic markets. You can see here at the moment there is currently one native one for the token and then one for the actual Pendle ticket token. So this is where it's kind of gets a bit more interesting. When we click into this, it opens up here. Now we can deposit our PT wrapped Origin Sonic into this position. We make sure it's clicked as borrow deposit as yes, but you can't borrow the PT wrapped OS. You might have to just click it here to confirm that you're allowed to use it as an asset, basically borrow against, right? So with that in mind, we've borrowed or we've deposited this. Now we're not getting any yield here other than the Silo points now. And I know it was mentioned in a recent article from Silo Finance and a Silo intern that I think each Silo point could be worth 0.0001 of a cent or something like that. I can't remember exactly. So you're not going to be getting an extreme amount of dollar value kind of for your Silo points. However, it's still an additional yield here that we have from the basic of depositing. So that's that's good, obviously, in that scenario. What we want to do is we've had that process. So we have the loan to value ratio. We have it set here at and 0.8%, so 80%. Again, this is higher because I think we can borrow from these loan to value of 90. So we have a borrow there of 90. So again, look, it is a good opportunity to take full advantage of the markets and what's available and stuff like that. So what you do then, what I have set here is I've set it to 80%. Again, I like to stay low in my risk. I don't like risking massive amount in this scenario. So with that, what we've done is we have the borrow APR in here. This is 4.4%. I think that's still right, yeah. So still 4.4%. Again, you're getting 0.5 your silo points, and you're getting, yeah, so you're getting 1.5 silo points between the borrowing line and the borrowing part of it. So what we do then is mentioned come along, look to borrow our S. Again, if we're basing on the 80%, we can borrow, basing this obviously on $1,000 at this moment in time, you can borrow up to $800 of S token. What we do then is we literally repeat that entire process again. So we swap it for Origin, lock it into Pendle, pause it again. Now, some people can do this, they do this automatically through different protocols. Problem I find with that at times is you can be kind of hit massively with slippage and general slippage fees. Now it is really handy, so if you're getting into position to have high TVLs and stuff like that, it is excellent. So with this scenario, as I mentioned, we're keeping a minimum health buffer of around 10. And with that, as I said, because of the change now, we're getting 50% APY on our position. Now we have to loop this 10 times. So it means you have to unfortunately go through this entire process 10 times to kind of max out your position. However, what happens is you turn your $1,000 into 4,500, and your total return is pretty much $500 based on your initial capital on a yearly basis. Now, remember, this is yearly, so don't get thinking it's going to be daily or whatever like that. But as you can see, you're getting an additional 50% for doing a few extra steps. And the joys of doing this, obviously, on Sonic is transaction fees are super low and super cheap. So the process is quick enough once you kind of know exactly what you're doing. Yeah, so like I said, it's 50%. If you want to risk it a bit more and you go down to closer to, some people do it, I think, to close to 20 loops, you can push it up to 54%. But for me personally, I don't see the point in that because you're only gaining an extra 4%, I think, is it in total on it. And as I said, not worth it for that reason. And what happens is your health buffer goes way down. So look, as I said, it is could potentially be a complicated one for people if you're only getting new into crypto. However, I do think it is a great way to potentially build out positions, help you build into positions, obviously, and a bit more stable yield. But also what's going to help massively with Sonic is the airdrop. You're going to have extra points from Origin Sonic. Not sure of Pendle, definitely with Silo Finance. They're one of the biggest gem providers with the airdrop coming, allocation of gems to them. So obviously it's incentivized to use Silo Finance. Just on that, before we finish up and to show you an example here of it being automated, there is a platform over here called Stability. These are obviously on Sonic again, so these are the positions at the moment you can get into for different ones. Now again, pay close attention to TVLs. The lower the TVL, the bigger impact it can potentially have for borrowing and lending and stuff like that into the market. So you can see here on this one, wrapped Origin Sonic. So if I open it up quickly here, you can see this is the APR it's been getting for a while. So it obviously dropped off down here, down to -14, and then obviously we're back up, not to -14, sorry, to 14%, and then we're back up around 50% again. Now this is a different position. This involves more, you're not using Pendle, so this is supplying wrapped Origin Sonic, which is here. So you supply the wrapped Origin Sonic, you borrow S, and basically it's just repeating the process for you. You're getting your points, I think, still going through this, but obviously it's all automated and compounded here, which is another great tool. But as I said, another excellent way to get Origin Sonic and have it in a increasing your yields for it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in getting involved, if you're getting into wanting to get into the Discord group. I'm looking to do more of this kind of content, so yeah, let me know. Thanks very much for watching. I hope everyone has a great day.